Good morning, my fellow Alaskans. It is so nice to have you all here today. It is a beautiful day in Wasilla, Alaska. We're at Newcomb Park, and we're here to support the Thin Blue Line, our men and women in blue. Join us today. We're going to have a pretty good, lively rally. It's just beginning. People are starting to show up here. I decided to go ahead and get things started early while it's still quiet. We have men and women here that are support and work for our men and women in blue in our office, in our state, to protect us, keep us safe from the unknown elements that may be occurring out there in the daily basis of our daily lives. We're at Newcomb Park in Wasilla. Some people call it Wasilla Lake. It's the heart of Wasilla as you're driving through on the park's highway. This begins at 10 o'clock today, so if you're in the immediate area or you just happen to be around, either blow your horn as you come on by or go ahead and stop on in and join the festivities that are about ready to begin. It is, like I said, an absolutely gorgeous day out here. This is a view of the lake out there. It is just as calm as can be, just a slight breeze. If you're standing in the shade, you get a little cool. If you're in the sun, you bake. They have t-shirts down here for sale to support the Thin Blue Line. Our men and women in blue. This is one day that you can proudly say Blue Lives Matter. 2. Glad to see people are starting to join us here already this morning. Don't forget to share. Facebook squeals on you if you don't share. We have Representative David Eastman that is here right now. We've got Senate District Howard, drawing blanks here, is also here running out in the further regions of Alaska. LD Howard, there we go, thank you. Got the news crews already showing up, taking their interviews. Trying to get a few people here, a few people there. Got any questions? Throw them on out there. I'll do my best to try to answer them. Alaska has some of the worst statistics in the United States. If you compare the rallies that have been going on around the state currently at this point in time, our demographics are a little bit different. But they do match up what the national standards are out there if you go by race. So that is something that always keep in the back of your mind when you're looking at the statistics out there and what the real numbers are. It's not the majority that is the ones that end up having to see one of these men and women that help protect us on a daily basis. This is why we're here today. Thin Blue Line. It's supposed to last at least, I believe, a couple of hours. Don't quote me on that. I know it does start at 10 o'clock today. I know they're probably going to go as long as they possibly can, but we're here just to support our men and women in blue. They do such a thankless job on a daily basis. I mean, even myself is not immune of having to experience them over the years. I mean, you can't get as old as I am and not at least have one run-in in your lifetime, whether it's just being pulled over for a speeding ticket, a headlight that's out. The different things that can occur that will get them to show up on your door. Alaska has some of the highest domestic violence rates in the United States, and a good chunk of their calls is just dealing with them. This COVID virus has made it really, really dangerous out there for people that are involved in those type of demographics, and it's really made a difference in our state. Without our men and women in blue, I could only imagine how bad things could get. Got more people filing in at the other end of the park, showing up. The crowd is getting larger here. Again, this is not supposed to start until 10 o'clock. I see a speaker system and such coming out now. So they are just really getting closer and closer to wrapping things up and getting things started here. Again, if you're just tuning in, we're at Newcomb Park in Wasilla. Some people call it Wasilla Lake. It is an absolutely beautiful and gorgeous day out here today. And I'm just going to do what I do best. I'm just going to go wander around and film what I can. They have some absolutely gorgeous t-shirts and hoodies down here for sale to help support our men and women in blue. We have Representative David Easman out here. How are you doing? Doing good. Me too. Oh, is that a new future law enforcement agent there? Ah, okay. It seems that the major news networks have all of the people to interview sitting there. Monopolizing their attention.
Maybe we won't have to go quite that far.
Good morning. You see way off out there in the distance. They are filtering on down here. The crowd is getting larger by the second. We're here at the Thin Blue Line rally to show support for our police departments that we have here in the state of Alaska. Whether you work in the correctional facilities all the way up to state troopers and the men and women in blue in between, we appreciate everything that you do.
I never got your name. I got everybody else's. Joe.
I don't know.
Oh, get your sign there.
Yeah?
We do. We back the blue. Thank you. It is an absolutely gorgeous day out here, folks. Again, don't forget to share. Facebook squeals on you if you don't share.
But they're going to show you how to do it real quick. Luke, do you know how to work all this stuff?
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
I can use milk, baby.
Crowd is beginning to grow larger here. I'm going to go see if I can get an interview with one of our ladies in blue over here. Hi, good morning. Would you like to talk? We're just kind of the alt media for the Valley. we're similar to everybody else, except for we're just not as big and as well known yet. No, I'm actually a Facebook run media page for Alaska. I'm known as Politidic. I'm more of on the conservative end of things, just trying to show what's going on in the politics in the state of Alaska, and then to bring some national things into the issues as they go on other places. But Alaska's my main focus. And living here in the valley, and I heard that you guys were having the Thin Blue Line rally today, and I had to make sure I got this one on my calendar.
I'm glad you're here and all these lovely valley people supporting. Yes.
So the obvious question, what brings you here today?
I am a police and fire chaplain here in the valley, and obviously support the police and the fire. So today is for the police, and I definitely support them. I'm doing a couple of prayers to kind of pull us together and make sure we begin as a group.
Awesome, that is wonderful. How long have you been out there, if you don't mind me asking?
About 2.5 years.
2.5 years? Wow, congrats. Are you excited about the new police department, the building that's being built? And it is?
Have you been to see it?
I have only seen it in pictures, unfortunately. I haven't been over there. I haven't had a reason yet to have to shake my head in shame here yet, or so, or maybe that's a good thing. I have yet to have a reason to ever visit.
But maybe they do tours when they're open, so maybe they're not going to do it. So, I would keep my ear. Maybe they'll have tours again, because it is a really fabulous building and such a great collaboration that the city and the people of Wasilla trust and support our police officers. It's such a
And it's amazing. I can't believe all the support that's showing up out here so far. I mean, this crowd is starting to get quite large. This is really nice.
Children, so that we, bring them up in the tradition as well.
I was just introduced to one of the youngest generation of the next police force here in Alaska. Was inside of their tote being carried around, and had that already had that look on his face. I'm here for business.
Yeah. Very nice.
Well, thank you. Anytime you have yourself I'm sure I will talk to you again. I'm Bert. Elaine, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
I sent her out to Montana to work.
Yeah, I'm working between these guys here today.
Pointing out all the people you need to check out.
That they are doing, yes. Crowd here is getting larger. Again, it is an absolutely gorgeous day. We're down here at Newcomb Park right now.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Do you mind if I cut in?
Yeah, 1, 2, test.
A speech with basically instructions on here. I've had 2 scars. Scarves and
Testing, 1, 2,
that's
test.
the most that I hear in a second because everything to bring it. Is the one always
They're testing it out.
Yep, They just want to get the message out.
Yeah.
And I have no problem with that.
Stacy, do you want your jacket back?
No.
Testing. 1,
That's
2.
why I'm asking before I do it.
Want to do one more?
3, 4, 5.
Which news is this one for?
I'm Politidic.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook, branching out there. I'm the kind of the local area news media company that's out there that's growing rapidly.
Testing. 1, 2.
Why don't you take her to the car, babe? Sorry.
Oh, no worries. And
All right,
the
ladies
louder
and
you
gentlemen,
are,
we're
the
gonna
better
just
they
start
like
our
things.
little
Uh-oh.
rally. We want to thank everyone for being here today.
Guess maybe I'll
My
mail
name
you
is Donna
a little
Anthony.
later.
I am born and raised
Okay.
in Alaska, and I'm also retired law enforcement. So thank you all for coming here to support our brothers and sisters. in
Gotcha.
And all of the family members. I would like to start this off as we'll have the chaplain from the Wasilla Police Department come up here and start a prayer. And you can introduce yourself. Go to.
Got to get right on it.
Closer? Closer. No.
Is there more volume?
Okay, I'm going to try this again. I am Chaplain Elaine Alaskans, and I am a chaplain with the Wasilla Police Department, as well as the Alaska Police and Fire and Anchorage, and with the Department of Education. No. Anyway, okay. So I would ask that I would like to welcome and thank you for being here. And I would ask that if you would just bow your heads for a blessing before we begin the rally. Almighty God, divine protector, and most faithful guardian, we gather here today to support and to call upon your blessings for our Wasilla Police Department. We give thanks for their hearts that serve, their strength, their great courage, and their perseverance to endure. We see their actions of compassion and empathy when they calm a frightened child, support those in critical and traumatic times, and in their involvement in their various community projects. We feel safe and we rest well, knowing that they are here to serve and to protect. They enforce our laws, they prevent crimes, and they respond to emergencies. We ask for their continued cool heads, stout hearts, and wise judgment. We ask for their safety and protection in the face of the dangers that they encounter. Please grant that their families will be blessed, they will be strong, they will be safeguarded, and that they will continue to be supported by the community of Wasilla and Palmer. We ask also that they are just, courageous, and wise as they investigate the laws that they are sworn to uphold. And finally, we ask that our community continues to trust, encourage, and uphold the men and the women of the Wasilla Police Department. We ask all of this and more in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much. I see we have some kids here in the audience. How many of you guys know the Pledge of Allegiance? Raise your hand. If you know the Pledge of Allegiance and you're a kid, come up here. I'm going to have you guys come open up with the Pledge of Allegiance. Come on up here if you want to do this. I'll have you stand up here with the flag. Okay, all the kids come up here. Any other kids want to come? You're a big kid. All right, you can stand right there. All right, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. You guys want to start this out for us, and we're going to help them out, okay? All right.
Come on, you guys ready? Come on, don't be shy. Come on, together.
Kaylin, you're good.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, give them a hand. Good job, you guys. Thank you so much for doing that. Very brave. Thank you. All right, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to have a couple guest speakers for you today. The first one I have will be Edie Grunwald. Where is she hiding? Edie's going to introduce herself and do a little speech here.
Thanks, Donna and Stacy and everybody that's here. I think we're all here for the same reason, though. We back our police officers and our troopers and our law enforcement, and I know that I appreciate them. When my son went missing, my 16-year-old went missing, and then subsequently found murdered, you really appreciate law enforcement to be there to investigate. And those four who murdered my son are behind bars. Yeah. Because of their hard work investigating, and they do this every day. And so I appreciate them, and I appreciate all you guys coming out here today, and appreciate our law enforcement. My troopers, they know who they are. That's what I call them, because I appreciate what they did. Hopefully, when it comes to justice, you don't ever learn what it is and what it isn't. But we just keep forward as a community because we have our Constitution, and we have one for our state and for our United States. And if we need change, we do it peacefully and with the laws. I mean, there's a process for that. But thank you for everybody being here. Thanks to our troopers and our Wasilla and Palmer and all our police departments and officers and investigators out there. So that's really all I have. Coming from a victim's perspective, you're huddled up when it goes missing. Who are you going to call? Thank you.
Don't forget to share Alaska. Alaskans need to see us supporting our men and women in blue.
Here and still talk about what happened. Is Lynn Gaddis here? Lynn Gaddis here?
Haven't seen her.
Nope. Okay. All right, we're going to go to Luke Howard. Luke Howard, I don't know if you've seen him, but recently he's been fighting hard for our Constitution and our Second Amendment. So I asked him to come be a guest speaker because he's a big supporter of law enforcement. So Luke Howard, please come on up.
Hi guys, I'm L.D. Howard, or Luke Howard, whichever one you want to call me. Donna asked me if I come up here and speak today. I'm very passionate on this. On this topic. Every day, the men and women of law enforcement get up, they have their coffee. Hopefully, they have a little morning talk with their kids around the breakfast table, and they strap on their boots, they strap on their belts, they put on their vests, and they go to work every day. The things they see out there are hard thing for anyone to swallow, hard thing for anyone to deal with on a daily basis. They're overworked. We know we're understaffed here, definitely in the state of Alaska as far as our law enforcement officers are concerned. So they work double time, triple time, tons of overtime. And after they come home, that's the hard part. They come home and they can't talk about their day. They can talk about little things about it, but they don't want to tell their families of the things they had to see and the things they had to do. They try to put on their smiley face, hug their kids, kiss their kids, read them a bedtime story, hug their husband or wife goodnight, and on to another day. And this is their life. They choose it. They choose to serve. And I think that's something we need to appreciate in our law enforcement officers. On average, every 54 hours in the United States, a police officer is killed in the line of duty. It's something that a grim reality them and their families have to face. That 3 to 4 officers die per week in the United States. The deadliest day for law enforcement, some of us have never forgotten, some of us are quick to forget, was 9/11. 72 officers died that day, rushing into those buildings when other people were rushing out, and they choose to do so because that was their duty and that's their call to serve. I think we need to understand that we need to respect those who are choosing to serve in their lives. Help them in any way we can. We see a lot of stuff happening in our media right now. We see a demonizing of our officers because of 1 or 2 bad apples. There's always going to be bad apples in every demographic of our life. But we can't judge all according to those few. There's so many good men out there who do so many things. These are the men and women that are first to respond to an accident, a motor vehicle accident. Most of them are trained as first responders. They're able to stabilize someone and save their life. These are also the men and women who are deterrent for criminals that want to come into a community and exploit it. We need, as we see the absence in some of the cities around the lower 48. We see that in Seattle. We're seeing it in D.C. We're seeing it in Portland. We're seeing it in Atlanta. We see that vacuum of power and authority and protection being filled by people who want to exploit that for their own purposes. We have to use all of our efforts as community citizens to lift up our police officers. That when we see them at a drive-thru, we see them in a restaurant, we see them whatever, say hello to them. Ask them how their day was. Most of the time, people just ignore them. They take a look, oh, officer, oh, better pay my own, on my own attention, not pay attention. How many times do you think these men and women are asked how their day's going? Not only that, but defend them. Defend them in your words. Defend those who defend us. Thank you all.
Thank you, Luke Howard. Colette, would you be willing to speak? Colette, I've actually had the honor to work with Colette as a dispatcher. She would tell me where to go as a police officer. I don't listen very well, but I listen to my dispatchers, and for us in law enforcement, they are our lifeline. Without them, I mean, they check on us, they do 1060s, they let us know as we're going to call, what type of call we're going to, and all the intel to help us as we get there. And I just kind of put Colette on the spot here to come speak, but I thought you guys should hear. She's still working for Palmer Police Department, and we thank her for her service.
Yeah, nothing like being put right on the spot. And I'm actually a grave shifter, so this is really hard for me to be out in all the sunshine. So, my name is Colette Thibodeau, and I have been a dispatcher for 22 plus years. I started out in Dutch Harbor, worked through troopers. I've worked at 90 Base, and we've been a variety of things. We used to be 911 for the whole entire Matsu Borough, and now we're just for Palmer PD and Palmer Fire. We've seen a lot of different things. I have heard on the other end some pretty scary things. Answering 911, talking to people in their worst hour. I've cried with people. I've listened to my officers call for help. I've heard all kinds of things. I've heard some great things too. There's been some great things that have come out. And anybody who knows me, I've told them this many times. They know my character and they know my heart. And they know that I would not work with anybody who was not doing anything that was not above and beyond. We have some outstanding officers. We have outstanding staff supporting them. We have awesome dispatchers that are there for you. They're always going to be there for you when you call. And we need to keep supporting, the whole entire system. We can't let the system break down. So I just, keep imploring with everybody, step back. Step back and see what these people are doing. Like I said, we see people in their worst hour. I have been called every name in the book. Every name. And you know what? You just have to let it go. And you have to just keep carrying on, because the next person that it calls is going to need your help. And I'm going to send those people out there, and they're going to help everybody every time. Now, we do have some people that abuse the system. We still have to take care of it. We still have to deal with it. We're still going to be there. So I appreciate everybody coming out. Like I said, this is a lot of sunshine for me. I appreciate all these people out there waving flags, and just being here is great. I really love seeing all you guys here. This is super awesome, and I appreciate all of your guys' time. God bless. Take care.
Thank you, Colette.
Thank you, Donna, for helping put this all together.
Stacy, where's Stacy Ham at? Where's Stacy? Stacy, do you mind saying a couple words real quick on why you put this together? Can I just ask you that? She did not want to speak, but I'm putting her on the spot. She's the one that put this together. I reached out to help her, and obviously I got voluntold a little bit more than I expected. So give her a big hand. This is because of her, so thank you.
So first off, this is really amazing. Thank everyone for coming out. I didn't know how many people actually shared the same opinion as me here in Wasilla, but I'm really, really glad to see everyone and hear all the horns. I'm sorry, every time I hear a horn, I like smile even larger, because it just means that that's how much more support we have for what we're trying to say here, which is just, the officers are just such amazing people, and Wasilla is definitely blessed to not. I don't think I've ever heard any cases. I don't know if any of you guys have about police brutality or racism actually occurring in Alaska, because Alaska's a pretty amazing state to live in. But I've just been wow, this is pretty amazing, and this is why I hate talking at events. Just saying.
Start an event, I'm going to put you on the speaker.
Yeah. But wow, if we're kind of done talking, whenever we're done talking, because I know we've got one more. If because of all the situations happening in America and not knowing what's traps and what's not. I think they definitely feel very blessed to be here today, though. This is just amazing, but they'll definitely be able to see it if we make our way down to the pack when all the speaking's done. And why did I do this? Because it's the right thing to do. Really, right on.
Don't forget to share out there. Facebook is suppressing this.
A little bit more. Bikers, let's give the bikers a hand as they go by. Thank you, bikers. We appreciate your support. We all stand together. We want law and order together, right? We believe in our Constitution, so thank you very much. I have one more speaker, and he's from Wasilla. Well, you're not from Wasilla, but you're in Wasilla. Vern Ruprecht, retired mayor and law enforcement and everything else. I'll let you tell your history.
I won't bore anybody with my history. You can read that online, and I'm not running for office anymore. But as a recovering lawyer and law enforcement and former military officer, former enlisted, I know there's a lot of veterans in the crowd. And place yourself in the shoes of people that are first responders, police officers, firemen. And for 6 years as the mayor of the city, the police department was under my control also. And fully understanding what they go through. Imagine, if you will, in a society that's large and as organized as ours, you have to respond to the horrible crashes, the mayhem, the destruction, to gun calls, to people firing. We know what goes on in our society, and it's unfortunate. It's a very difficult thing to deal with, and they are human beings. I know at times some of us have got stopped, we've had tickets, we've had interactions, and you may come away with a good impression of the police officer or not. But that you need to put aside, because policing is a community responsibility. And without the community supporting policing, in which all of us are invested with the authority of policing, because that is a constitutional concept, who else would come out and do it? Sometimes it's long hours, sometimes it's not very well paid. I mean, you're trying to get through 25 years if you're going to make it to retirement at the minimum. And maybe you're going to make it, maybe you're not. And one of the biggest problems they really do run into, being human, they have to internalize all these anguishes. So anybody that's ever been, anybody that's a vet, been an emergency responder, been in a war, probably fully understand that. Because you deal with those thoughts, those dreams, those memories, and they creep up on you at the worst times. And so please try to understand them. They're doing a job. It's not always an easy job. You don't know what kind of call they just came off of when they're interacting with you. It may have been a pleasant call, which oftentimes it's not, or it might have been a pleasant call, but approach determines response. And so remember, treat them with the due deference and respect of the office. You may not necessarily respect the individual all the time, but they do provide critical public service to us, and respect the very notion that it is you who have to be involved in policing your community. You're the eyes and the ears, and sometimes you're called on to help. So we all know, we think we're totally self-sufficient. We can deal with any weird sounds or whatever in the middle of the night. Well, maybe, maybe not. Because you never know when a terror might creep up on you. So you have to be prepared. And these people in that particular work have to be prepared all the time. And it's a very difficult edge to live on. And so if you understand that and the important role they play, you'd applaud them. You buy them a cup of coffee, but they'll always tell you no, because they can't. But, yeah, and a drink too. But we have to understand, we cannot do without it. Otherwise, we'll all be out in the streets with bats and pitchforks and torches, and we don't really want to see that come to fruition. We want to live a more peaceful and organized life. And I'll stop bloviating. But that's what I really believe. Thank you.
Thank you, Vern. Thank you very much. I have one more person. I asked her to come speak because a lot of times you guys don't hear how it really affects the officers' wives or husbands who are not in law enforcement. You guys are extended family. I want you to hear how it affects us and our family members as well. I'm going to ask Melissa Steen to come up here. Thank you. I'm putting everybody on the spot. You like that?
Yeah. Isn't that a true story, Donna? So, I have 7 years into corrections, and my husband has 21 years in as an officer in multiple departments. He's been all over this state. He's also been, can you hear me now? Sorry. He's been in multiple departments across the state, but 21 years has definitely taken its toll on him mentally, physically. He's trying to make it to the 25 years, but he was recently diagnosed with PTSD. We are working through it, but I will tell you right now, the mental abuse that these guys take, the physical abuse they take, is really rough. After 21 years of putting all of that into the box in the back of their head and dealing with it day in and day out, it not only affects them, it affects the family. I can't tell you how many times we've had to come up with plans for our kids in areas where there's people that he's arrested and they make comments. We have a plan for our kids. You go here, we'll come and get you if there's a problem. He's been spit on. I've been spit on. I've been told that I'm a horrible person for marrying a cop. My kids have tolerated that in the schools. They've been told that they can't have their friends come over because their families don't want them at a cop's house. That's nothing it should ever be brought up for a child to deal with. It goes both ways. Yeah, they're rioting and saying they're bad people, but they have no idea what these people deal with on a daily basis. And to get it thrown at me that they chose this job. This is what they chose to do. They didn't choose it to be abused and to be yelled at and spit on. They chose it to make a difference in this world and to help people. So next time you see one out, ask them how their day's going. You don't know what they just went through. Okay? Big girl.
Thank you, Melissa. Well, it's not easy. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to come say before I wrap this up? Somebody? Yes, sir. Come on up. I will hold your flag for you. I'll be honored to.
My name is Mike Kuntz. I'm the president of the Matsuut chapter of AMAC Action, Association of Mature American Citizens, or as I like to call it, Alaskan Citizens. AMAC, nationally and statewide, support our police officers, our first responders, our firefighters, our paramedics, all those people that put their lives on the line. My wife and I are both Air Force, retired. I'm a retired paramedic for 22 years. I've worked side by side with police officers. I was just telling the lady here about a situation where 911 dispatcher talked to mom through CPR on a cold water drowning, and because of what they did, gave us the time to help bring that baby back. That was my 7th full arrest save. And it was thanks a lot to 911 that gave that child every bit of help that they could get. I've seen what officers see as well, and they're not nice. Paramedics don't get spit on too much because we're saving their lives, but they don't understand that police officers are saving their lives as well. And for those that believe that defunding the police is the way to go, I really, really hope and I pray for their safety, because their safety is in deep, deep doo-doo. So, July 11th, Wasilla Senior 7, 11 a.m. was our next meeting at the Wasilla Senior Center. I'd love to have you all there. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to wrap this up. Again, my name's Donna Anthony. I told you guys earlier, I'm born and raised here in Alaska. I'm retired law enforcement here. But let me just tell you, I got into it thinking, I was pretty naive, born and raised in Alaska. And I worked for law enforcement, then I was undercover in the drug task force and DEA for 6 years. Let me tell you, the things I learned, I was never prepared for that. It does change you. I've got the injuries to show by sacrifice. I've got surgery on my arm from a guy who was on alcohol and cocaine and messed up my arm, had to have surgery. Then I was exposed to a meth lab and an MDT lab, and I had chemical burns where my shirt did not show. So I had chemical burns on my arms, my face, and my lungs. I don't know if I'm going to have cancer in the future because I inhaled that stuff, and I was pretty messed up after that. Then I broke my back during a drug raid, so I've taken a beating. So I appreciate every one of you that are out here today to support our brothers and sisters in blue. So thank you very, very much.
Why were you in that meth lab? What were you holding in that meth lab? What was I holding? A baby.
Oh, so were you the one that sent me on that call? So during the state fair, I'll give you guys a quick story. You know how busy we get during the state fair, and everybody in Alaska goes there, right? So we're pretty burnt out of calls. We don't get a day off, and it was towards the end of the fair, and there was a call of a naked 2-year-old baby running down the street on the opposite of the fair. I thought, I'll take that call, right? That's an easy call. No, that was the worst call probably I went to. The mother was high, passed out in this house. I did not know that, so we got the baby. I get my partner. We go in to see why this baby's running around by itself with no parent. We eventually found the female adult in the back bedroom, unconscious, and we're calling for her. I thought she was actually dead. She eventually came to, and as soon as she realized we were police officers in her house, she was mad at us for being there. And we're asking her, did you know where your 2-year-old child is? She did not care. She wanted us out very quickly, but I secured the residence, got a warrant, not knowing when we went back in it was going to be a meth lab, and the boyfriend's second meth lab in the state of Alaska, and along with the MDT lab, the first one in the state of Alaska, where I got the chemical burns from. So you never know what we're going to go to. So, all right. Well, I want to say thank you guys. Does anyone else have anything to say before we wrap it up? Yes, sir?
Oh, hi. Yeah, you know, I was in the U.S. Army, Fort Hood, Texas, and I deployed to Afghanistan for 1 year. So if you're in the U.S. Army or U.S. military, you get to deploy like every other year, right? Yeah, we risk our lives and limbs to protect America, but police officers, firefighters, emergency medic technicians, they are at war every single day for decades. They are at war every single day. So to me, like police officers, firefighters, and emergency technicians, way up there. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love veterans, I'm a veteran myself, but police officers, they're at war to protect our lives and limbs every single day, all their lives. So I thank God every day, every night, for our police officers, firefighters, emergency technicians, for saving us. To me, they're like Jesus. They're saviors. Thank you.
Thank you very much. How many of you, raise your hand if you have brothers and sisters in law enforcement? I know somebody in law enforcement. Raise your hand. That's awesome. All right. Thank you guys again for coming. What I'd like to do is if we can do about 15, 20 minutes by the road just to show our support, then that would be great. We just did it for an hour, and we appreciate every one of you coming out here. Thank you, thank you. Oh, over here in the corner they have these little blue things that go on your license plate. Is that right? So go see if you want this for your license plate. All right? Thank you guys very much for coming out. We really do appreciate it. My brothers and sisters will see this, so thank you for they love your support. Thank you.
Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land. We are at the Thin Blue Line rally happening here at Wasilla at Newcomb Park. Please come on down if you're in the area and join. They are currently heading out onto the road now to go and show their support for the men and women in blue. I've been reported that the police department here in the valley is going to be doing a drive-by. They are so busy right now. They would have loved to have been here to participate in today's event, but it is a little bit busy right now out there in Alaska land. Of course, this is summer. We're in our peak. For what peak is for COVID, that is. But don't forget to share. Facebook is suppressing this video. This is not something that they would like personally to make sure it doesn't get aired out there. They don't want to see the support. That this is supposed to be a myth. This is what the mainstream media has been reporting to us all, that there is no support for our police department, our men and women in blue, those who are on the front lines on a daily basis, our fire departments, our police departments, our troopers that we have here in the state of Alaska, the VSPOs, you name the organization from top to bottom down, they are needed. And I am going to go ahead and head on out to the road. And bear with the ducking. Whee! Doesn't like doing a head flip. We are here at the rally at the Thin Blue Line at Newcomb Park, Wasilla, Alaska. If you're in the area, come on down and join. Don't forget to share. Facebook squeals on you if you don't share. This event, we should have a couple hundred people watching at this point in time. But for some reason, this post is not propagating out there. This seems that the video has been suppressed. I don't understand why that is. I could do the same thing for a school board meeting, and this thing would have 300 people on it at this point in time. We're at Newcomb Park here in Wasilla, Alaska. Come on down and join. Show your support for our men and women in blue. I'm going to do what I am famous for. I am going to just walk the line. I am about a quarter of a mile down the highway right at this point. It is just absolutely unbelievable. Don't forget to share. Facebook squeals on you if you don't share. You're excused. News crews are a little upset with me because I'm willing to walk the line and actually show everybody out here that is here showing their support for our men and women in blue. These people are amazing. Every day they put their lives on the line. We are down here at Newcomb Park showing our support for the men and women in blue. Those who put their lives on the line on a daily basis for all of us. Make sure that we stay safe. They do a thankless job, and because of a couple of bad apples out of hundreds of thousands of our police officers that are out there every day putting their lives on the line, Don't forget to share, folks. Facebook squeals on you if you don't share. Again, we are here at Newcomb Park in Wasilla, Alaska. We've got a large, very large crowd that has shown up. It is growing by the second. There are still more people coming down and joining it. If you're in the area, do not hesitate to come join yourselves. It's just amazing the amount of support that we have out here. Everybody that is wanting to show that our men and women in blue do matter. Blue lives do count. They sacrifice on a daily basis for all of us. Without them, the anarchy would be running wild in the state of Alaska. You can see the news crews down there. They're really upset with me because I keep walking in front of them. For some reason they don't like it when we show all of the support going on, not just the little snippets they would like us to see. Don't forget to share. By the amount of viewers that we have on this today, it's obvious that Facebook is making sure this one is not being propagated out there. Woo! I have more viewers for a PFD rally than I'm seeing for support for our blue lives that do matter. A school board meeting's got more viewers than what we have right now. Come on, folks, share this video far and wide. Alaskans need to see everybody standing up for the men and women in blue out there that sacrifice it from the top on in down to the very smallest job they may have down there. Making sure on a daily basis we have our securities and our freedoms being protected. I am going to go walk the line again. Thank you everybody for joining us today. Facebook squeals on you if you don't share, so please share. And we got Carol Carmen down here today. AK Bear, I know it's kind of childish, isn't it? They're more than happy to trash people online instead of showing just the simplest of support, as you've seen throughout the past month or so that all this has been going on. I have been on all sides of the issue, and let me tell you, this is the best rally I've been to in the last 30 days. Yes, these are real Alaskans. None of these people are paid to be standing out here today. absolutely amazing. Come on down, Newcomb Park, Wasilla, Alaska. They're going to be here for at least another 20-30 minutes, hopefully even longer, who knows. Supposed to be having the police department coming by. Wasilla Police Department's going to be doing a drive-by. We love our men and women in blue. All right, we're going to do the reverse walk.
That's awesome.
We are here at Newcomb Park today, Wasilla, Alaska. I am going to switch hands so that I can give that one a break on holding the camera here. We are live in Wasilla for the Thin Blue Line rally, happening to show support for our police department here in the state of Alaska. As with most things that you hear about out there, none of these people here are paid actors. They are all here volunteering their time to show support for our men and women in blue. These people do a thankless job on a daily basis. What is that?
I said we love our law enforcement.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
God bless them.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for showing this all the time.
No problem. I would love to have a talk with you a little later.
Oh, okay, well, I'm going to be here for a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
If you haven't heard about it, we're here at the Thin Blue Line rally showing our support for the Alaska law. Our men and women who on a daily basis are doing a thankless job out there, no appreciation whatsoever. So we're here to show them that they are appreciated. We love our men and women in blue. Hopefully I had the camera facing the right direction on that particular shot there. I have no idea when it goes up in the air. Almost back to the end of the line, gonna restart one more time. Our men and women in blue should be rolling by here pretty soon. And thank you everybody for joining us today. It is wonderful to see you. We're here at Wasilla, Newcomb Park, showing our support for the Thin Blue Line, our men and women in blue, and our officers and police down to the correctional department. You name the department that has to do with our law enforcement. We are here to show them our support. Alaskans, they're showing their support for other Alaskans who do a thankless job on a daily basis. Don't forget to share. Facebook squeals on you if you don't share. Look at that crowd. Oh my God, it's just absolutely amazing how many people have shown up out here. We have a few hundred people. That's not even everybody. We've got them all still piled up over at the park over there. None of these folks are receiving donations to be here today. No, they're not being paid actors. They haven't been solicited through Facebook or any other channel out there to pay for their support of being out here. This is the difference between the protests that we've been seeing and the protests or rally that we are seeing now. This is actual support. This is a positive thing for people to be standing up for. I'm going to get one more chance to slide out here again, and then I am going to go walk the line one more time. We are Alaskans supporting Alaskans. I am going to zoom through the whole line here. Some of those folks have already moved back to the other area. This is just absolutely amazing. All together, those that are over at the pavilion and that are standing over here right now, we've got a couple hundred people here showing their support for the men and women in blue. And I'm going to go do my walkthrough one more time. There's a couple people out there that I would love to get an interview with along the way. I know the road traffic makes it horrible, but we'll make it the best that we can. Woo! We're here in Wasilla, Alaska, Newcomb Park. A couple hundred people have shown up to show their support for the Thin Blue Line, our men and women in blue from the top end down that do on a daily basis a thankless job. Several great speakers this morning at the beginning of this.
It's kind of.
It has. He works for a state hospital now there, so it's the state they rolled over his 7 years in the.
We're in Wasilla at Newcomb Park, showing our support for the men and women in blue here in the state of Alaska. It has been an awesome showing. This is a very short rallied event. It should be wrapping up here pretty soon. I'll see if I can maybe get a couple of interviews at the end of this. Thank you all for joining us here today. We are at Wasilla Newcomb Park, showing our support for the men and women in blue, the Thin Blue Line, the people that protect us from the things that most of us would never want to encounter or have to deal with on our own. A thankless job on a daily basis. I'm going to go slide on down and see if I can get that interview here. The Iron Maiden? That is awesome. You're going to head out? I gotcha. Well, you want to step off on the path there just long enough? I just kind of told him I was heading that direction. I saw you walking toward me.
I got a couple other people I'm going to drop off real quick. And I'm going to go get some.
And as with most things, when it comes to my type of feed, the louder you talk, the better people hear you.
I've never been accused of being quiet. All right, so you're going to ask me questions.
I am. I'm gonna let you answer and ask your own questions. But first off, who are you?
Well, my name is Thibodeau. I am a 911 emergency dispatcher at Palmer Police Department. I've been dispatching for 22 plus years. Kind of lost count, which I need to keep track of. But yeah, so I've been in law enforcement for a while now.
So in other words, you are literally the first line in the line of defense for the thin blue line out there, the one that takes that initial phone call.
Well, we used to take all the 911 calls. It goes through MATCOM now, and then it comes to us from Palmer PD. But we're talking to the people who are asking for help every day.
Wow. And I know the obvious question or the obvious answer too, but I still like to ask it. What brings you here today?
I'm just here to support my people. I love all my family. I mean, like 20 plus years, you get to know these people pretty well. I'm very proud of them, and I'd like to see that they always come home safe. You know, they're part of us. You know, they're always there for people. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows that we care about them, and knows that this chaos that's going on in the world right now. I think in Alaska we're pretty darn lucky that we have what we have up here. There's always room for improvement in everything. And we, as a community, we can do that together.
I agree with you 100%. In fact, I personally like to thank you for the tireless job that you all do out there on a daily basis. It's just absolutely amazing. I mean, I honestly admit myself, I have been on the receiving end and the giving end of the thin blue line here in Alaska, to where I've either had them visiting me for one reason, or I've had myself calling them for need of their help. And even though speeding tickets may not seem as bad as some people might think, now that I'm older, they don't happen anymore. But it's one of those things. If you guys weren't out there, I'd only imagine the anarchy and chaos we'd all have to be dealing with on a daily basis.
Crazy. And there's things that people have no idea what happens out there. They don't need to. When we pick up that phone, people ask, what race are you? Or what, obviously we can tell male or female, but we don't care. We just answer the phone. First thing out of our mouth is what's an emergency. So it's, people have to train themselves to, deal with responses to 911 to help us help them. And it's a whole process that's super easy, and we do it. We always do it. We always take care of it. It's just crazy that it's getting to be a questionable thing. And one of the things I think that people are confused with defunding, look it up. Understand what defunding means. I think a reallocation would be better, because there are areas where police really shouldn't be involved, shouldn't have to be involved. And so when people start saying abolishing police departments and all that stuff, that's when it gets a little too crazy. That's unrealistic. Abolishing, but defunding, they're reallocating it to areas where it needs to go. We're talking to the officers and working with them. Then I can see where we can come up with some other plans to make things happen. But it's a crazy world, and we can't make everybody 100% happy.
I know that on a daily basis. I'm not quite in your position, but because of what I do, I am on the front lines on my own end of facing that. They just don't want to accept I'm a human being too. It doesn't matter who I am, what I look like, where I come from, what nationality I may be, whether I'm here legally or illegally. It's just one of those things that everybody should have an opinion and be treated as a human being, not as a race or as a being divided consistently because of you're a male or a female. It shouldn't matter. We all should be treated equally and the same.
Absolutely. So that's pretty much it. We had a lot of good responses here. We had a lot of head shakes saying no, which I don't understand.
I'm having people reporting to me on my own feed that other people have shared this particular one to do nothing more than to say bad things. And it's just absolutely amazing. It's sad that it happens.
It is really sad. And, hopefully we can let them know we're all human. We're all in the same boat together, and let's just work on it. Stop being so nasty.
Exactly.
It is what it is.
Exactly.
All right, well, I'm roasting up here.
All right, no, go home. We're cutting into your bedtime right now, working the night shift. So.
7 a.m. So this is way past my bedtime.
Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate everything you do.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, take care.
That was just one absolutely awesome interview there. We got just a few handful of people that are still hanging out here. I do have one more interview that I would like to go and get today. Today has been a beautiful day, people showing up and showing their support for the Thin Blue Line. I'm going to walk on down. Hopefully she's still here. She is the one that put this event together today. I was told that she was going to stay until the very end to make sure everything was cleaned up. And yep, I see her over there right now. Don't forget to share. Facebook squeals on you if you don't share. Bear with me. The phone's going to say I've tilted it again. It doesn't like being tilted. I don't know why that is. Oh, it didn't give me an error message this time. Unbelievable. We get some small miracles, you know what I mean?
Excuse me. I don't want to be on camera, but I was going to introduce myself. You and I converse a lot on Facebook. I'm Don McClown.
Nice to meet you. I'm still live streaming here, so anything you say or anything is still being fit. Okay. Just so you're aware.
Okay.
But
cool.
Give me about 15 minutes or so. I got just the event coordinator here that I wanted to have couple comments with at the very end here.
Yeah.
Now that the excitement has slowed down quite a bit.
Yeah. Cool.
She looks like she's in one more interview here up in front of me. I usually like to butt in, but I am going to be nice and just stand off to the side just for a minute. We're at the Thin Blue Line rally here in Wasilla, Alaska. It is just wrapping up right now. I have one more interview that I'm going to do with the event coordinator that put this all together today. I'm kicking myself for not bringing my wallet down with me. I would have loved to have gotten one of their Thin Blue Line t-shirts today. Or one of their hoodies. Either would have been really nice to have had. I did not know they were going to be here. Otherwise, I would have. It was one of those things. Thank you all for everybody that has tuned in today. We're at Wasilla, Newcomb Park for the Thin Blue Line rally. Just a handful of people here. And I'm just kind of hanging out for just a minute so that I could do one final interview with the event coordinator that put this all together today. Go and take a quick look down at the lake. It is just absolutely gorgeous here in Wasilla. I'm going to do a shameless plug here really quick. 4th of July, Wonderland Park here in Wasilla. we are having a 4th of July tailgaters party and the Independence Patriotic Picnic, 6th annual for them, our 1st annual for the tailgaters party. We decided because the mayors of both Wasilla, the valley anyways, and Anchorage decided that they were going to hold absolutely 0 4th of July events this year because of the scared ideas of being able to have too many people together in an outdoor area. We decided to hold our own 4th of July party. It is a potluck. This will be on the 4th of July at Wasilla, in Wasilla at Wonderland Park, beginning at 11 a.m. and it goes until 3 p.m. Donations are gladly accepted for this if you are unable to bring, say, a potluck dish or something to help build the party to become even more than what it is. This is just a bunch of Alaskans getting together and showing our independence and saying that Alaskans matter too, that we have our rights, that we should be able to enjoy, and that nobody can tell us when we can and can't do something. I'm just a free-thinking type of person here, so bear with me. I'm just kind of flowing with the flow. And it's just an absolutely beautiful day out here. Don't forget to show up to the patriotic picnic. Bring a potluck dish. There is supposedly going to be at least 100 people there, if not more. It is a private gathering, but it is open to the public. We are just inviting everybody to come on out there for it. The frontiersman, it looks like it's just monopolizing her time at the moment. I'm not that big of a person to do that kind of thing. I just want some of your time just to fill us in on what's going on. Again, I'm here just hanging out long enough. I still want to get an interview with the event coordinator that put this all together today. It was absolutely amazing turnout. It looked like a couple hundred people had shown up for this, showing their support. We still got LD Howard here. We got David Eastman still here. Oh, it looks like even Senator Shower has shown up. I recognize him from the back view there, amazingly enough. Well, let's go see if my back view is correct. It is correct. I was right. I did recognize the right person. I was just telling everybody, I swear I know that's who this is. This is Senator Chower over there. And all I saw was your back end, so I was guessing.
Look at the size of that big old melon. Here's support the police, man.
I hear you there.
The police, disband the police, dearm the police, that's just dumb. Doesn't make sense to not going to support that. If you want to talk about policies and maybe doing things that are better, that's a fair discussion. No problem at all. But get rid of them. Seriously.
Exactly.
That doesn't pass the common sense test. I'm all about talking about changes to things if you need to do that. But defunding, branding, disbanding, really, what did that mean? I can't support that. That's not common sense. We need to be better than that. But that's when we talk about things that might need to be changed. And you know what? If you got a bad apple, pick a bad apple. You don't defund the police. You find the bad police if there are, then you're doing the right thing with them.
Exactly. Get rid of the ones that are not doing their job. Keep everybody else.
Do what needs to be done. Prosecute that guy. Kick him out. Do the right thing. If you want to talk about procedures, go ahead. Do that.
They actually need a bigger budget. Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah. Getting rid of them, that's crossing the line. That doesn't make sense. But I don't think your average American supports that. I know your average Alaskan doesn't support that. That's not right. Yeah.
If anything, give them a raise and keep the good ones and get more good ones in. No, I don't want to be on camera. I'm just...
No, he's always at every event. He's spent all the time out there to make sure people see us going on. I was
wondering. I'm just basically, I'm unfiltered. I just keep rolling until the events are over with.
I just get a big mouth and start talking.
That's okay.
Well, that's exactly what we're looking for, right? too many people out there keep their mouths shut on a daily basis and don't speak up.
She gets the foaming at the mouth.
She does too. She gets over real public. We go in the truck and she'll be like, rah, 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 up. Like, why would you say, I don't want to talk to you. Shut the door. Wow.
The never-ending flow.
Why didn't you say this? Why didn't you start talking about it?
No, that's what you said. I don't want to talk about it. That's okay. The average person needs to start talking.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to.
We are, because we're seeing the erosion of things. We're getting to the point where the average person going, whoa, what the heck is going on? We're losing our minds here. I think most people are starting going up. But that is the average person, not the activists. We got the 10% out there who've always been squawking on both sides. I think that the middle of the normal people are starting to go, you know what, this is
enough.
You got that march you're talking about down south on the city, you know, the other side of the argument.
The 6 mile march that they're doing in DC right now, is that what you're referring to?
There's several of them going on. There's another one.
Kentucky.
Yeah. Take their capital back. You know, so things are happening, man. On both sides, but things are happening. People they sense it.
People with any common sense are getting tired of it.
The trouble is they don't have common sense.
I hear you guys all there. I mean, honestly, that's why I got into this. I tell everybody I blame Donald Trump. The day he came down that elevator, I go, man, this is going to be the best reality TV show you can ever watch for, and it's not produced by Hollywood. This is one not to be missed whatsoever.
Globalists versus nationalists. This is the one world order, global people versus those that love their country individually. That's what they want. That's the battle. Donald Trump is a nationalist. American leaders love his country. We got the globalists on the other side that want to take over billionaires and other countries that want basically worldwide Marxism, if you will, communism. That's it. That's globalism. We're all one big happy family versus people that love their own country. That's really the battle we're seeing play out right now.
Yeah.
What do you think they're fighting for? Because they want control. And he's kind of coming in, no, America's first. And they don't like that. It's undoing what they've been working on for decades.
And showing us what they've been working on for decades. It's like scary. There's so much going on. I don't see how he does it. I really don't see how Trump keeps up with it all.
I think he kind of relishes the fight.
Oh, he does. It fires him up. I mean, you can see it every time something comes out there. He fires right on back, whether it's good, bad, or ugly.
Yeah, he twitters and tweets and has the war of the words of the press, and I think it doesn't bother him one bit.
I guess now that we found out 120 million died from corona, our taxes are going to go up.
That guy cannot speak in coherent sentence to save his life. Oh, they wanted to come up and touch the hair on my leg. You know, he's got his creepy arms around. That guy is, I don't know what his problem is, but he is, how could you possibly want to support him?
He's been wearing a mask way too long.
Want that guy. And if you notice, they kept him really quiet for the last month and a half.
And his ratings are going up.
So stupid. So you can tell they've got Biden shut up for a reason. So he stopped saying things, hoping that something thought that Biden was ill. And he'll seem like the reasonable guy. I know what they're up to.
Well, yeah, basement bunker. I mean, that's where he's hiding on a daily basis.
Yeah, keep Joe quiet, shove him to the side. Don't let him say anything. Literally, he's been quiet.
Yes.
Yeah, whereas he hasn't shown one policy, what plan, anything to solve a single problem.
Joe to shut his trap and sit there and be quiet. You can tell what's going on.
And point a finger. That's all we want you to do. Just point fingers, but tell us nothing.
Wave at everybody and run to the limo.
Once Obama backed him and started raising money for him, he got a little mouthier, and then it's like, you need to shut up again, Joe.
Once he starts talking and the real
messes up.
Like, oh God, make him stop. All the other side you say about Trump, there goes Trump talking again. But the point is, at least when Trump says stuff, it kind of has some meaning behind it, or it could be a coherent sentence. Joe says stuff, and you're like, what are you talking about?
And he says it right
to us. The hair on your legs? What does that have to do with it?
Hey, did you see Trump's rally? When he said, they gave me another disease. Did you see his rally?
Oh, no, that was at West Point. Oh, yeah, he said it at the rally about West Point.
He was talking that trying to walk down the stairs, his shoes were slick. But then when he took a drink, he moved his tie and he was doing this. Because he doesn't want to get it on a silk tie.
And he's sleeping.
And they hate the man, will say anything.
But they gave him another disease, is what he said. Oh,
it's like poor Trump.
Look, you gotta understand that the ends justifies the means. They'll say and do anything to get them going.
Yeah.
So they get some puppet installed that goes back to doing their global order where very few people have power. Look, anybody with a brain can see that. Just look at it. Look what's happening around the country. He's trying to Joe's country down right now. pull it apart.
I know.
Trying to destroy the Constitution. Look at the frickin' guy running for mayor. The Dunbar. Holy crap. The guy's like basically talking about, undoing the Constitution and the things he wants to do. They don't respect it all.
Yeah, and he's getting all the press and all the publicity on it too for free.
And Berkowitz is everything he does is all to get himself set up to run for higher office.
Oh yeah.
He's about his next stepping stone. This is just a stepping stone.
His hunker down since day one. I have been calling it his next political campaign ads, and that's nothing more than what it is.
Berkowitz is a freaking communist. I'll tell you flat out, that's what the man is. Look where he came from, Berkeley. With his attitude, the things he says. Look at the communist Marxist ties of what they say and do. We don't have to sit here and talk about it. I know people see this on Facebook, they'll freaking lose their minds and say it.
Oh, they're going to blow up. That's the good point.
Look at what they do and say. That's my point. Is you don't have to believe in the dogma thing. Just look at their actions, where they came from, who they associate with, and it tells you much about who they are. And their policies are not about
I'm going to give a short plug here. I'm sure Landfill is going to take a piece of this video here right now and do another smear job with it, running for his own political motivations. It's just absolutely atrocious out there to see the little snippets that are coming out about people not showing the whole picture.
Look, I don't want to cause more chaos. I don't really need it, but it's disappointing to me to see people that are want to tear down the Constitution, they want to take away people's freedoms.
Do you really think they're going to be able to get all Americans in for a second shutdown? Because I don't. I think we'll be out there protesting and pulling 5G towers down before they keep doing this to us.
The reality to me with the second shutdown is that the problem we have is, does the cure become worse than the disease?
Exactly.
And if you shut everything down to a point where people lose their jobs, lose their businesses, what's left? I mean, for a virus that's real, that's affecting people, but it's a very, very tiny portion of the population. We know that almost everybody that gets it has little effect.
Yeah.
They just get a little bit sick and they never have to see a doctor.
Exactly.
So are you willing to destroy everything for that?
Exactly.
Or is there something else being at play? The virus is real, it came out, it got that, but it's being used as almost like a political weapon.
A way to control the people and take away our rights.
Isn't that their motto, though? Don't let a
crisis go to waste.
Yep.
It's just, you can't, we can protect the vulnerable, we can isolate those that are sick and help them, and that's appropriate to do so because it's a virus and it affects certain people. But at the same time, everybody else is healthy, live your life, go on and keep the economy moving. Destroying everything over that doesn't pass the common sense test. It doesn't. And a doctor could do that like Dr. Zink, that's fine. But I've got to take a bigger view. The bigger view is I've got to keep everybody working.
Yep.
I've got to keep the economy open so everybody doesn't end up in misery and poverty because you shut the economy down because 1% of the population might be affected by a virus.
Food shortages. We've seen all this crap happen.
Well, we take it right now. I mean, worst case scenario happens to you. You catch the coronavirus, and the worst possible thing would ever happen to you. 14 people in Alaska have had that happen. That is only 0.00019% of 1% that has had the worst case scenario happen to them here in the state of Alaska. I mean, we've since they started opening up testing, our numbers are driving up because they're actually testing the ones catching the small planes, not just the commercial airliners anymore. I can't name during the peak of this virus how many people are getting on a small plane, picking up in Anchorage, getting on to say like Raven Air, flying to their location, never once got tested. That happened throughout the entire COVID, the major part of the lockdown. Only if you're on a commercial airline did they actually test you when you came through. Otherwise, they didn't get tested. Now, why are our numbers going up? All those people catching the small planes have to be tested too.
If you are testing more people, you're going to find more people with it, so your numbers are going to go up.
Exactly.
But the statistics on what's actually happening with them, those numbers haven't changed. So the statistics are still the same as far as who's affected, how they're affected, who really gets sick or is really impacted by it. But you're going to see a second wave if you open up, right? Because more people out doing things, so there's going to be more interactions. But the more you test, the more you're going to discover those who had it. And remember that antibody testing that they're doing is showing very crystal clear that more people have had this virus than we knew about without any impacts or very little impacts. That's a big part of this, which means that way more people have it than we thought without inundating the medical system, without having to go to the doctor. So that's one of those little kind of scary things that, everybody's being scared by this, but the reality is your chance of really getting sick is really, really minimal for this. And we now know that far more people have had this virus already than we ever thought they did.
Than they ever even knew.
Testing, if you look at the testing death rate, like something I was reading about last night about how you really have it and how many cycles it goes through of checking for the DNA of the virus to get to that point. And that data is arbitrarily set by CDC, and it's a high threshold, which means that basically more people had it than what they were looking at and how the positive tests come out. There's a lot more to this.
The numbers still aren't there for the actual. I mean, we're still at less than 1% for United States wide for the worst case tragedy that could ever happen to this, and people just don't concept that.
All the way back to late January, where the models were saying 500,000 Alaskans with 730,000 infected by April, and over 20,000 dead. And everybody freaked out and go, man, if that would have happened, that would have been worthy of shutting things down and doing something, because that's a big deal. Well, when it ends up being really like 10 Alaskans, and we got a couple of thousand maybe really infected if we tested everybody across the board, the models weren't right. And you react on what you have for information, you do your best. But when the information changes and you realize it's not what you thought it was, then you adjust to that. And the problem is you have somebody like Berkowitz in Anchorage that's still reacting as if it's the worst case scenario when we know it's not. And I'm telling you right now, my impression of reading the tea leaves is that it's being used for politics, as opposed to being used for common sense. You're going to continue to shut down your economy. And I know he says, well, I read what he said about this whole thing, and I go, his reasonings don't make sense to me. It's a different philosophy. I'm a liberty-based guy. I'm a constitutional-based guy. And Berkowitz and others have a very different view of the world than I do. And so be it. That's the right to do so, but I'm not going to agree with that. I don't believe in shutting it down. I believe in taking common sense precautions. Do what you need to do to protect the vulnerable. If you're afraid of it, wear a mask. Do your stuff. But look, remember they were talking and pointing out how they did this, and when they had the assembly meeting to talk about it, they're all touching their face and moving the mask the whole time. It defeats the purpose of having a mask, because you touch your face more. I watch people do this with the mask, and they're doing this all day long and then touching everything. Yes. They're spreading it worse. I've got a lot of friends that are doctors said, if you keep the mask off and you're not touching your face and you're just breathing, not coughing, you're probably better, because you're not doing this and spreading it on everything that you touch. So it's more complicated than just mask, no mask.
Smartest thing to do is just keep your hands washed constantly on a constant basis, and
if you think you're vulnerable, stay away from people.
And if you're feeling sick, don't go out for a little bit.
Apply common sense protocols to this, but it's more complicated. Like I said, than just a mask or no mask. It is. It's more complicated now. The data is more complicated now. Not everybody's affected the same. Most people that have underlying health conditions. If you know about those things, then protect yourself. Do something different. It's just we're trying to boil this down to a 10-second talking point and make it this or that, and publicly shame people that don't wear a mask, or if you don't want to wear a mask, you're mad at people for wearing a mask. Let it stop. Let people do. Let's go back to basics. Let people do what they want. Let them have freedom, as opposed to dictating at the point of a government guide what you're going to do.
And just make sure the warning is out there. That's it.
Oregon was already arrested for not wearing a mask. Tell me it can't happen here. Where does it end with this? Where does this end?
Well, Berkowitz yesterday in his own live feed about him locking up the state, he openly admitted that, I don't see why we shouldn't be calling in people that are not wearing masks, that the lawsuits should start to happen possibly. That's how he put it. And but this mask mandate that he's putting in place, it doesn't affect children. Children don't have to wear a mask. He said that more than once during his entire hour-long video that he had yesterday. Children can catch it. Children can spread it. Children may not be affected the same way older people that have underlying conditions are, but why don't they get to wear a mask? Is the point is that only adults are the carrier, that only adults can pass this disease on to other adults? Kids don't have nothing to factor into it? It just didn't make any sense with what he had to say yesterday. It was contradicting himself on a consistent basis.
Much of this has been contradictory across the board with how these policies have been applied, picking and choosing winners and losers in the economic world. How come a marijuana shop, which I understand that Berkowitz may have some financial interest in, be allowed to stay open during the crisis, but you shut down all the other mom and pop shops? What if they're essential? Because to me, every business, everybody that's invested all their money, that business is key and essential to somebody's livelihood and to the employees that they employ as well. But we put certain businesses out and say, well, Fred Meyer's a big corporation, or Lowe's or Home Depot can stay open, but the mom and pop shops in Palmer or Wasilla or Anchorage are shut down. But alcohol stores can stay open, marijuana stores can stay open. How are those key and essential to what's happening? I mean, people are upset about alcohol and marijuana stuff, but you can keep those stores open. How are we picking winners and losers? If those stores can somehow magically follow the protocols, and do the right things to help keep people safe, then why can't every other store, if they can do it, why do you not give them the freedom to be able to do those same things and let their customers choose to come in? I had a lady out in Willow have a brilliant idea. She's like, why don't we go with like green, yellow, and red, a sign on the door of every business. And green is like you follow all the protocols. Yellow, you follow some. Red's like you don't follow them at all. And people make a choice to go in and out. Why not?
There are 3 lanes of traffic. You pick which one you want to be in.
If you want to go in or not. Okay? How are we picking and choosing winners and losers? How are we telling people you can't go to church? We're going to take away your right to assemble. And you saw Dunleavy's letter yesterday to the Anchorage State.
I did.
And he's like, no. He's like, Berkowitz's little, dictate doesn't apply to state offices. If state office workers want to go into Anchorage, they can go in without a mask if they so choose. If they want to wear one, they're welcome to wear one. At least there's freedom in that to make your own choice about what works for you, and talk to your coworkers and do what you think is right. But that's the point, is we're dictating these things as opposed to letting people choose how to do this. And like I said, if this was the zombie apocalypse, if this had a 10 or 15% mortality rate, we'd be talking an entirely different thing. That would probably be appropriate for martial law and shutting things down and burning it out until a cure came or a vaccine, but that's not what this turned out to be. So we're in different territory. That's why this is different to me, and I don't know.
Well, thank you, Mike. I'm going to put a shameless plug in here. 4th of July, we're having a tailgaters party at Wonderland Park. The pavilion that's at the center of the park, straight in, if you go through that driveway, starts at 11 o'clock, ends at 4. We would love to have you show up. This is also the Patriots Day Independence Picnic that has been thrown for the last 6 years in a row. This is their 6th annual this year. And it's just a fun get-together. It's a potluck. And we're inviting every Alaskan to come and join us. It was kind of not the patriotic part of the thing over there, but the tailgaters party was my idea, just because the mayor of Anchorage and the mayor out here in the valley decided to say that they're not going to do anything for the 4th of July this year. I just couldn't accept that. This is Alaska. We have a right to show our independence, and so I wanted to make sure everybody could show up and come on out, and just making sure you get
because we're not having a July 4th. There's no parade or anything.
There is no parade. Just what they're doing in Palmer, and that's it. And that's being put together by another private group out there. It has nothing to do with the city whatsoever. Yeah.
People make choices. If you want to show up, come have fun. If you don't, if you want to stay home forever, you should have the right to do that.
Exactly.
Choose to do what you want.
Well, thank you, Mike. I'm going to go, and I've been wanting an interview with the coordinated leader here since the beginning, but everything started when it came time.
Sounds good. Are you running on live? Or
I'm live right now. Yeah, been since the beginning. So,
cool. All right, man.
You've had my best viewership so far. Don't run away! Hi! Man, you want a beautiful lake background?
Sure.
I'm here with the coordinator that put this all together today. So all 3 of you are responsible? No? I'd be proud to be wearing that badge.
They don't want to be on camera.
Oh. Well, they're disappointed. Well, let's have you slide over just a little bit here. Well, you still get the shade. All right, I know you have been talking a lot, but I have what you call the iPhone ideal microphone for this thing, but it requires people to speak up. Okay. If you want to be in the video, then slide over. If you don't, then slide out of the way. But you are in it, so yes. We are here right now. Thank you all for they're still tuning in. We just got done talking with Senator Mike Shower, and we are currently with
Stacey Ham.
Stacey Ham. It is very nice to meet you. You are, from what I've been able to catch throughout today, the person that put this all together for us.
Yes, well, kind of. To me, it's more like a community-run event. So KTUU did their special about, they did a Back the Police event, right, in Anchorage, and all they did was do a comment that said, hey, Wasilla should do that. And about 10 people responded back saying, we would totally attend. So I switched it over and was like talking to my husband about it, and my husband's like, it's up to you, it's your time. So I turned around and created a group, and this was the turnout. I got the community's involvement with what day to pick, and I just did majority rules type thing, and then same with time, and we just kind of went from there. Originally, it was supposed to be over at the new police station, and then the city called and was like, hey, just to let you know, permits are important. And so I really just did the permit half, and talking with someone who knew a bunch of really amazing people like Senator Eastman and Edie Grunwald, and of course I knew her too, but she reached out to all of them and was like, okay, why don't we do like speaking, and this is what we should have done. She's done several events, and this is my first one, so I just kind of followed her lead, and this is what we did. I asked Peak Apparel to come out just because I saw their shirts, and I just knew wow, you know, if there's ever a time and a place to sell these, you know. So I asked them to come out and see what they could do, and see how much money they could make for their own business with COVID kind of taking everyone's down. Why not help those that, you know, care about food? So that was really the only portions I did. I know everyone's giving me credit for it, but it was really a community-run event.
Well, yeah, your one step of opening up the group, getting people talking, reaching out to just certain individuals. I understand what you mean by making an event happen. You did an amazing job. I just want to make sure you understand that. You did do an amazing job, especially on the short notice. I think I've known about this for, what, a week now? Yep. Is how long I've been promoting the event myself.
Oh, I've known for you. It was 1 week, and I grew up knowing that there's a silent majority around us, right? But when so many people are screaming, isn't it important to not be silent anymore?
It is.
I just wanted to make sure that we came out and we showed our support, and the police chief knew, he called me, and that was a really amazing experience, is what I'm trying to become. And oh my gosh, I was completely tongue-tied. You think I'm bad now talking on the phone with him, but
actually I think you're pretty well seasoned at this point. You're doing phenomenal.
Other news crew, wow, that was embarrassing. Yeah, no, it was really amazing to have him call and to say, it doesn't matter if 1 or 10 show up, we really appreciate every voice we've got right now. And I was like, oh gosh, I really hope there's a really big turnout. And today it was bigger than I thought there would be. So I was really, really happy, and I hope that he sees all of the news video and just is like, wow. I know that they were unable to attend, but that's just because they can't show a political side. They're not allowed to have a voice right now, so it's really important that we be their voice.
It is. And I'm proud myself to be out here doing this today. Everybody who knows who I am, they've seen me I was at the event that happened in Palmer a couple of weeks ago. I stopped in on the one that was in Anchorage, and now I'm out here today doing this one here. And I try to, everybody that knows me knows my political opinions very, very well, because that's pretty much all they ever get to hear if they follow my page. So it's just one of those things that this, for me, is a personal thing, because I do myself have family members that are on the thin blue line or in the thin blue line that are out there on a daily basis. I don't have any here in Alaska, but they are down in the United States in the lower 48. It's a tireless job, too.
I've got 2 up here in Alaska, and I just, they're the most kindest people that you'd ever meet in your entire life if you actually got to know them. One is in Kenai, and the other one is over in Palmer, and they do so much for the community, and all of their work is just being silenced by what a few think are horrible police officers, and it's just not fair that they're roped in with people who didn't belong wearing the badge to begin with.
Exactly, singling out the individual and should be the only thing that happens, not lumping them all into one group, because they're all good people. I mean, they are, but no matter how many good people you have, you always have one bad apple. It just never fails. And that one bad apple, if it was on a different spectrum, a different political side of the view, that one bad apple would be buried as fast as you could possibly ask for, and you'd never hear about it whatsoever. But the minute it crosses over to the other side of the political spectrum, all of a sudden it is the worst thing in the world. How dare you let this happen?
Right. And the horrible portion is, and I was talking to another gentleman about this earlier, so many people are like, well, there's certain career fields that no one can afford to be a bad apple. And here's my issue with that. We have doctors that there are some bad apples. You've got some that are horrible bedside manner. You have some that don't know how to do their job and they operate on surgery and people pass. So if you have doctors, because they're human beings, every single person on this earth is a human being, and we are all capable of making mistakes. And to say you're incapable of making mistakes and hold someone to that standard, you should really be looking in the mirror and making sure that your reflection is clear too, because everyone is capable of making mistakes.
Yeah, I would honestly, myself personally, I would love to meet that individual that is so perfect that they have never made a mistake in their life, ever.
Well, I never met him, but I know him. Jesus Christ. So, but I
good answer. I like that answer.
I can't honestly say that anyone walking this earth right now is even slightly equivalent to him. And to try and hold people to his standard, like I said, they just need to be looking in the mirror. It's not fair to hold anyone to a higher standard than the other.
So if there's one last question here, if there was one thing in the world that you would possibly be able to change right now, what would that be? I'm the genie. I'm going to give you your biggest wish that you have ever asked for. What would be our dream for? And I'm saying this worldwide, not just on a U.S. type spectrum. If you could change one thing worldwide, what would it be? I know it's on this.
For everyone to be consciously aware of what's coming out right now, because I think that if everyone was aware of the things that they're saying and the way, the tone, the demeanor, all of it is being portrayed, they would be ashamed of themselves.
Thank you. That was awesome. And, as I have done with everybody else, and I'm just gonna go off into the land of, even though you're still standing here, just so the folks that are watching, I'm going to give you a view of the lake. Another shameless plug. We are having a 4th of July Patriots Day picnic, 6th Avenue. Yep, at Wasilla Lake. Nope, we're completely different than that one there. Oh, right. Yep, we've got it at the Wonderland Park. It begins at 3 o'clock on the 4th, ends at it begins at 11 o'clock. Ends at 3 o'clock. The Independence Patriot Day, this is their 6th annual event for them, holding it on the 4th of July. And myself, I am throwing an Alaska tailgaters party for the 4th of July. And I'm throwing it in regards to that both the mayor, Berkowitz, and the mayor out here in the valley decided that they didn't want to have a 4th of July this year. Because of them saying we can't share and enjoy our independence together with fellow Alaskans, I said, I'm throwing my own party. So you are more than welcome to come. It is a potluck. So, it's a bring a dish. We're just inviting Alaskans to come and spend time with other Alaskans. We are going to have some people there speaking.
Politically, we're not allowed to throw our own 4th of July. We have a lake that we go out to every year for 4th of July, and we go jet skiing. I got to turn to it's so important.
I got you.
And it's so important to be around my family for 4th of July and having fun, huh?
It is. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for holding this. I mean, every little bit out there is just amazing to be able to get people together and show support on the other side of the spectrum that mainstream media seems to always be keeping out of the actual view of the limelight out there. I mean, even this video here, I'll give you an example. I did a short little minute and a half video a couple days ago to do nothing more than to look for places to hold a forum in. And I got more viewers watching that than what this has received off of Facebook today. And the reason why that is because I know for a fact that this is being suppressed and not being propagated out there for everybody to see. Yet my short little other clip has gone miles. No, it's... I was having fun making them I was having fun making them very upset today. I kept walking in front of their cameras. They kept yelling at me, hey, you, get out of the way. I was like, no, not going to happen.
I was just glad they were here in order to, show this side, because I haven't been seeing that much from their station. So I was happy. I'm really happy.
Well, thank you.
I just hope I phrased everything right to where it doesn't get...
Oh, they'll figure out a way. That is their mentality out there, to cut the little snippet out that misses the whole story.
All right, you guys ready? Ready?
All right, Alaska, I am thanking you. Thank you for joining us here today. It has been an absolutely wonderful event for the Thin Blue Line. I appreciate everybody that has shared this video. If you haven't shared, share it now. Make sure that people get to see this video. From what I have seen for viewership of what has happened today, I just really don't think this is being propagated enough, and people are not being able to get to see the other side of the spectrum, that they just don't want other people to see the other side of the spectrum. Alaskans supporting Alaskans for the Thin Blue Line. Have a great day.